Hey guys, welcome back to the Storm. I'd like to apologise in advance, there's a lot of roadworks going on outside my house, sorry if there's a little bit too much noise. I'm going to give you guys a video today on who I feel, and this is only who I feel, are the most underrated heroes in Heroes of the Storm. I'm not going to include the Butcher in this, just because he's just come out today and I haven't really had a chance to gauge him, but he seems to be incredibly strong from what I've seen so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the other heroes and tell you the three heroes which I think are the most powerful but don't get picked enough, or that people don't seem to bundle them in with other heroes that are of a similar or lesser strength. And I'm going to show you those heroes in try mode, and I'm just going to go over why I think they are underrated and why I think they are exceptionally powerful. So without further ado, let's get to it.
How's it going, laddie?
So the first hero I'd like to talk about is Falstad. I think Falstad is incredibly powerful. His flight passive, I suppose it's not really a passive, but the ability to fly as opposed to use a mount across the map means that he can make incredibly good plays. His Q it hits really hard in the late game and in the early game as well, and the slow is really, really useful. The W allows you to just commit to kills at a relatively long range, and his E is just incredibly good escape, especially considering you can jump through walls and stuff with it, so it's just incredibly, incredibly strong. And both of his ults allow for either big damage in the form of Hinterland Blast, which is just a big line when it can finish off a lot of people, or really set up a real swing in the team fight if you can group them up one way or another. And Mighty Gust is great if you just want to really force like hard reposition to just get them away from someone. It's great. Peel, you can force them off of objectives doing this. There's just loads and loads of other ways of doing it. Let's quickly go into try mode and just see how he plays against other heroes, so I can really kind of drive this point home, and then after that I'll show you the other two. So here we are in the try mode. I've leveled us up to level 20 and throwing together a quick build. Obviously I'm not going to go over the build, that's not what I'm here for. Basically I just want to show you guys where the real power of Falstad lies. So his at level 20 build, or one of the builds that you can go for, is what's known as the basic attack build. Combine that with all the other talents you take, and what that means is that you can throw out your hammer really far and you really start to deal big damage, as you can tell, to the person you're trying to kill. And then of course when they're about to run away, Hinterland Blast, bam. Obviously if I had a few more stacks of ability power, that would have killed him. He's just incredibly, incredibly strong. I can't show you the barrel roll through the wall, unfortunately, but trust me, you know, you can do it. In fact, I'll see if I can kill myself real quick just by. See, you can dive in through walls and stuff. This is a really silly idea, and it is going to cost me my life, but you get the idea of why Falstad is so strong. Oh, is he going to survive? I was intending to edit that bit out after that. Just I'm amazing. So yeah, Falstad's incredibly strong. Obviously, this isn't the best time to use it, but I'll show you guys what flight looks like. And there you go. But you can do that obviously for a massive long range. You can jump from mid lane to top lane, from top lane to bottom lane, I think, if the map's small enough. And it just means you can really gain a kind of advantage that other people can't. He has a small amount of CC, but that CC is going to be more. It's a stun, which is more than what a lot of assassins have at late game. And his basic attacks just really hit for quite a lot, and he has really good escape, and he's just got the ability to put free on places. I think he's strongest in the mid game. I think in the late game his damage can kind of get a little bit low, and the little bit of CC he has allows him to secure one or two kills. But assassins in general tend to get a little bit, ranged assassins rather to be specific, tend to get a little bit weaker as the game goes on, just because CC becomes more reliable, it becomes more CC. So that's Falstad. Falstad is my third most underrated hero in the game. I'm going to look at the other people, see you in a bit. So the next hero I want to talk about is Sonya. The reason I think Sonya is remarkably powerful, I would say, it's just because she's surprisingly difficult to kill once you get the in a position to heal yourself with Whirlwind, and she just deals a crazy amount of damage, and her initiate is incredibly, incredibly strong. So if you can reliably just start like wailing on people with the W, you can deal some really, really, really big damage. And then if you find yourself about to die, if you're in the late game, you can pop Ignore Pain, and you can just start using Whirlwind, stuff like that. The build I'm going for, I'm just going to flag this up right now, isn't necessarily a build that you should definitely go for, because I play Sonya because I think she's fun, and I kind of don't build her in the best way, because I don't find the current meta, as far as Sonya's concerned, like the best way to play Sonya, that entertaining. So I just kind of go for kind of a little bit of a funky build. That's the thing. Oh, that would have been amazing. Yeah, I'm not very good at Sonya. I'll flag that up. So basically, Sonya is incredibly strong because she's got the really good initiate and chase with the Ancient Spear. If you go for leap, that's another initiate that allows for incredible stun. She's got really good damage with the Seismic Slam, and it deals quite a surprising amount of area damage. And she has really good sustain in the self-healing form, which is Whirlwind, as you see here. You just heal yourself for a surprising amount. which is always nice on a warrior. The things where she falls down kind of are just damage overall. She doesn't have that much sustain, as you can see. Like, that's about it, and that was 3 big hits. There were 3 of her biggest hits, and they still didn't kill the tank, which is fine because, you know, it is a tank and all that, and against an assassin, that's fine. But Ancient Spear is 9-second cooldown, and it is a skill shot. If you miss it, you're going to find yourself in a bad spot, and then after you use it and it goes on cooldown, it's going to be very difficult to reinitiate. Again, I think she's surpassed by the likes of Muradin and Diablo and the next person I'm going to mention, purely because they have more CC and it's more reliable, whereas hers is a skill shot and that's it. Like as you see there, I use Ancient Spear, Seismic Slam, Seismic Clamp, and she's out of Fury. Obviously I've gone for a build that kind of means that she doesn't have that much sustain because of the build I've gone, to be entirely fair to her, but still that's just one of the problems that she has. So I think her sustain is a little bit of a problem, and she's just kind of easy to kill. If you can interrupt her well when it has a 4-second cooldown, you can easily burst it down in 4 seconds. Yeah, that's Sonya. Let's talk about the last hero, which I think isn't going to be too much of a surprise to some people, but a lot of people just seem to forget him recently. So let's go and have a look. So the last hero I really want to mention is Arthas. A lot of people have kind of missed Arthas recently in the current situation that the meta is in. A lot of people just kind of forget about Arthas, and I think that's a little bit unfair. Arthas is incredibly strong. He's one of the only tanks, in my opinion, who's got reliable everything. His root is a skill shot, but once you get good at landing it, you're going to land it often. You're going to land it a lot. He has a great initiating form, Syndergosa. And of course, as you can see there, it's kind of useful as a chase. He's got really good self-healing and he's got mana regen, which is just incredibly strong. Because of the nature of his self-heal and his lockdown and everything, he's incredibly good at running away, because if a melee person wants to try and kill him, the Frozen Tempest will slow them down. He's good at lobbing Howling Blast behind him if he wants to stay alive, and he's good at keeping himself alive with Death Coil. Couple that with the mana regen you have from Frostmourne Hungers, like the ability to just go in there, poke, get a couple of hits off, get loads of mana back, is just incredibly strong. In the early game, if you combine his CC with someone else's CC, which of course, so if this is the early game and I'm in a lane, and I can go, and then as it hits, obviously I have to land it, but if I land it and then my Fury throws down, entangling it at the same time, my route's going to end and his route's going to start, and that means that he's going to be stuck for a really long time without being able to move. And in the early game, in levels 1 to 7, maybe even 10, that's going to give you a kill. And at that point in the game, that allows you to secure the first objective, which allows you to really get a good footing in the game. So I think Arthas is incredibly strong, and I think the only reason people have kind of stopped paying attention to him recently is because the meta's kind of shifted towards ETC, Muradin, and Diablo. Which is unfair, because I think Arthas is an incredibly good bruiser. I think he's better than Tyrael and Sonya at what Tyrael and Sonya do. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that. When you get into the late game, the Frozen Tempest, Howling Blast, Frostmourne Hungers combo with Death Core to keep yourself alive is incredibly good at securing kills. Like, you landed a shot on that. Oh, unfortunately it didn't last long enough because has Arthas taken Relentless? I can't see. But yeah, so if you want to, you can build a pure tank. I've gone for kind of a bruiser build because I think that's really fun. And I think the way that most games tend to go these days, the bruiser build is going to be the one you're going to have the most success with. But of course you can go a full tank build with Regen Master, Superiority maybe, or Frozen Waste if you find yourself really having to CC everyone down. You can take Rune Tap, of course. You can take Army of the Dead, which allows you to just sacrifice and just keep getting loads of heals back. You can take Relentless, which is incredibly good if they have a high CC team. You can take Immortal Coil, which means you just heal 50% more. And you can take Hardened Shields, which means it's incredibly difficult to kill. Yeah. I think if you're looking for a tank that you want to try out because you want to play a tank but you haven't found a tank that you particularly like, give Arthas a go. I think he's incredibly strong. If you want an assassin and you kind of maybe a little bit niche, maybe you don't like Illidan or you don't like Valor or you don't like some of the standard tanks, have a look at Falstad, who's incredibly strong. And if you still don't like Arthas, if you think that Arthas still isn't quite for you, sorry about that, use go for Sonya. Sonya will incredibly fine. Oh, my screen's dying. Anyway, Christ almighty. Before my computer entirely dies, that'll be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Mrs. E, and I'll see you next time.